All right, so I'm Jason Scott, Vice President with DC Solar Electric. You go to the next slide. So we'll go through the agenda here. I'm going to go through a couple things. Really, I'm here to try to educate you guys on how solar works, the different types of inverter systems, quite a lot of differences, government incentives and rebates, how to maximize solar for rental properties. That might be kind of a topic some of you guys might be interested in. Leasing versus buying, considerations for protecting your home, savings with solar electric systems. I'm going to give you a real world example, somebody here in Placer County. And then I have a special guest here, Alexia Vitalik, did I pronounce that right? From Empower. There's been lots of things that have gone around in Placer County with Empower. So I asked if somebody from Empower would come and join me and answer any and all questions you guys might have. We're going to save her for the end. I imagine there might be some questions. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. Now let's make this interactive. So please stop me as we're going. If you have questions, you want to comment. I'm also going to ask questions. And if you answer the question, I'll give you a gift card. So we go to the next slide. So how does solar work? Anybody know? There you go. Come on up. It's that easy, right? All right. So the sun hits a solar panel. That creates direct current. Does the house run off direct current? Anybody know? No. AC, alternating current. I got a gift card for you. All right. So how do you convert the solar panel from direct current to alternating current? You have an inverter system, right? You go down from the solar panel, you go through a junction box into your house, and then you get switched from alternating current to direct current, and you go from having a monthly bill with PG&E to an annual bill. Now the easiest way to explain this is it's kind of like deposits and withdrawals from a bank account, okay? So every month, you're going to make deposits into your bank account, which is solar electricity, right? PG&E gives you a form, gives you a statement that says, you gave us this much power. They'll also tell you how much they sent to you. The goal at the end of the year is you send them as much as they send to you, and you have a net zero. If you overproduce, you get money back. If you underproduce, they tell you at the end of the year, you owe me this much money. You don't have to pay a bill every month. You do have to pay the taxes, which is about $9 a month. Other than that, they give you a recurring statement you pay at the end of the year. Next slide. So there's two different types of inverter systems. There's what's called a string inverter and a microinverter. Does anybody know the difference between a string and a microinverter system?
The string is all connected, and then the microinverter individual.
Very good. All right, so for those of you that didn't hear, the string is all connected, and the micro is individual. So the easiest way to explain this is kind of like batteries in a flashlight. You have two brand new batteries and one dead battery. You put it in the flashlight, what happens? You turn it on, and what happens? The thing barely turns on, right? That's a string inverter system. So as long as there's no shade, no pigeons like in Placer County that like to poop all over the place, and you have full sun, you're okay with the string inverter system. If you have any shade, any birds, anything that's going to shade a soil, like if you live in a newer development, they're developing, there's constantly dust. As soon as one of those panels gets shaded, like on the left there, the whole system comes down and operates at that lowest voltage, okay? Also with a string inverter, you have only a 5 to 10 year warranty. Now solar panels have 25-year warranty. So from my perspective, why would you want an inverter that's only going to be under warranty for 5 to 10 years when your panels are under warranty for 25? Now it costs a little more for microinverters, but a microinverter system has an inverter for each individual panel. So you have built-in redundancy there. So if one panel burns out, the whole rest of the system's working just fine. One of them gets shaded, the rest of the system's working at the full optimum power, okay? Now, if your inverter burns out and you have a string inverter, you have to wait for someone to come out, give you a new inverter, reinstall it, and your system's down that entire time. So again, with the built-in redundancy of a microinverter, if one inverter burns out, one panel burns out, you're going to know right away. It's going to send you an email. It's also going to send the contractor an email, which is someone like me. And they're going to get a hold of you and say, hey, looks like something's wrong, we're going to come out. The string inverter, you don't know until the end of the year when you get your power bill, and it's way more than it should be. A microinverter system also offers a 25-year warranty. So it's a bumper-to-bumper warranty, 25 for the inverter system and the panel. Next slide. All right, government incentives and tax credits. Congress just voted to extend the tax credit through 2020. Thank God or I wouldn't have a job. It was supposed to sunset at the end of this year. So we'll go through 2020, 30% of the total cost of the system. People often ask, what if you have to re-roof? Contrary to popular belief, if you re-roof the surface that's under the solar or the surface of the solar, you can write that part into the 30% tax credit. If you want to do a shade structure and put the solar on top of it, that's a solar shade structure. So the structure itself you get a 30% tax credit on as well. That's good through 2020. For commercial, it's also 30% through 2020, but then it'll go to 10% after 2020 for commercial, 0 on residential after 2020. So if anybody's thinking about getting solar for a residence, you try to get it done before 2020 if you still want the tax credit. Yes, sir.
What about upgrades to solar systems? Do you get any credits on those?
Anything that you spend on a solar system is 30%, regardless of whether it's new or old, yeah. So you can upgrade and still get that, good. Anybody know whether the tax credit for solar is adjusted against your adjusted gross income, or is it a dollar for dollar credit? Does anybody know? That's not correct. It's a dollar for dollar credit. So a lot of people will think, oh, it's just against your adjusted gross income, it's just gonna lower your tax liability. That's not correct. As long as you pay enough liability for your tax credit between now and 2020, so let's, for easy numbers, let's say you have roughly a $30,000 system, you get roughly a $10,000 tax credit. As long as you pay $10,000 in taxes between now and 2020, you'll get every penny of that back. Now, if you do your taxes quarterly, or you do it at the end of the year, and you're not paying like a W-2 employee, where it's automatically taken out of your check, you're not paying tax, it's taken, right? In that situation, you'll get that back. If you're gonna write a check at the end of the year, you physically don't write them the check for $10,000. Does that make sense? The other thing to consider is MACRS, which stands for Modified Accelerated Cost Recovery System. Does anybody know what that is? This will get 2 gift cards if everybody knows that. All right.
Appreciation.
Who said it? All right, depreciation coming up and get your 2 gift cards. So what that means is, you can go to the next slide. For any commercial system, you can actually depreciate it. So you take the federal tax credit of 30%, and then you can depreciate it and get a further tax credit on top of that. So the pot's a lot sweeter if it's commercial. So a question for you, is a rental property a commercial property? Yes, it is. So if you have a rental property and you're renting it to somebody, that is a commercial property, which means you can take the 10% tax credit. So I did easy numbers here, $100,000 system, let's say it's a big building, $30,000 tax credit. You also get the MACRS credit of $25,4995. So your net cost is only $44,005 for a $100,000 system if it's commercial or rental property. Now the depreciation schedule I have on the bottom here, you get 20% the first year, 32 the second, 19, 11, 11, and 5. So it's a 6-year depreciation schedule, but it's definitely good, sweetens the pot for commercial properties, i.e. rentals. Next slide. So let me just show you what this might look like for a rental property. So if you look here, here's the 3-tube system that PG&E just went to. The lowest price that you can buy power from PG&E is 18 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, that's like this much of your power that's this much, okay? That's the teaser rate. Then you get into tier 2, and that's almost 30 cents a kilowatt hour. Then you get into tier 3, and that's 45 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, people who have pools, who have large houses, who like to run their AC, who have kids that run around, leave lights on, kind of like me, you're paying 40 to 45 cents a kilowatt hour for every kilowatt hour that you buy. Now, if you had a rental property that you wanted to rent, let's say you buy a $25,000 system, you're going to get a $7,500 tax credit. You're going to get a MACRS credit of $63, close to $6,400. So your net cost is $11,000. Okay? Then you go to the homeowner and you say, guess what? I'm going to give you a deal. You're going to pay 18 cents for the kilowatt hour that you get in the lowest tier from PG&E, and I'm going to match that. I'll even go in between 18 and the second tier, and I'll charge you only 25 cents instead of 40. Okay? I get a report from this fancy microinverter system that I get that shows exactly how many hours it produces every month. You write me a check for 25 cents times that number. If you do that, the system would produce roughly 12,000 kilowatt hours, which is $3,000 a year. Now, for your $11,000 investment, it takes 3.7 years to pay that off, and you're going to have an additional $67,000 at the end of the end of the warranty period in your pocket for putting that commercial system on your roof, in addition to the close to $13,000 of tax credits. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Next slide. Anybody have any questions? Clear as mud? All right. What about new homes? Any realtors ever have somebody that says, I want to buy property and build my own dream house because I hear it's way cheaper, no stress, and I can get in right away. And everybody's like bending over backwards to give me a loan to do a construction job, right? Anybody ever have that? Okay. If you do, there's what's called the new Solar Home Partnership. So this is something that was funded by the state of California Solar Initiative, back when Schwarzenegger was the governor. There's money that's set aside. Right now, it's at $1.25 a watt. So if you have a 5,000 kilowatt system, multiply that times $1.25, you're looking at $5,000 to $6,000, and that's cash, free money in your pocket. The only thing you have to do is fill out the forms, have an energy engineer do an audit during construction. And if you do that, they write you a check for $5,000 to $6,000 depending on the size of the system. So it's free money. You get the tax credit 30% plus the free money if you're doing new home construction. Kevin McDonald did it on his last house, right, Kevin? Next slide. So I'm going to talk to you about leasing and buying. So I have the pros up, and there's kind of a question mark. I'm not sure if they're pros or not. I'll let you guys decide. I personally don't believe in leases. Anybody will sell you one if you want one, but I'll talk you through kind of the pros and cons. So the leasing company, they'll tell you, hey, this is a great deal. I'm going to put it on your roof, 20 years, under warranty. You don't have to worry about a thing. We'll handle all the maintenance. Anybody know what maintenance includes for solar? You hose it off once a year. It's a lot of maintenance. And if you don't, it's about a 5% factor that kind of derails how much production you get. So it's not a huge deal. Any reputable contractor, there's a handful like us, who will stand behind the system for 25 years. So having a leasing company say, I'm going to stand behind it for 20, it's really not, I don't think it's that good of a deal, but I'll let you make that decision. At the end of the lease term, they have this clause that says you need to buy it for fair market value. Does anybody know what that means? I don't think they know what that means. Yeah, there's no number. Well, what does that mean? I don't know. We'll look at it in 20 years. So what I mean, you're gonna have to decide whether you want somebody to rip it off your roof, whether you want to pay for it, what is it worth. And that's at the end of the 20-year term. When you're applying for a lease, you still have to qualify. So anybody that has decent credit, you go talk to Eli Shannon at Capital Direct. He's gonna get you a cash out refi, and it's gonna be a lot better rate than if you were leased. If you had zero tax liability, like zero, some people are retired, they pull out just enough money to pay their bills month to month, a lease probably does make sense, because you're not gonna have the tax liability to cover the tax credit. Does that make sense? So if you have no tax liability whatsoever, and you're paying out the wazoo for electricity, this is a situation where I would say a lease probably makes sense. If you're upside down in your mortgage, like way upside down, and you can't qualify for even an Empower loan, it might be a second option where you would say a lease might make sense. But again, that's debatable. Do you want to put more money into that place if you're that far upside down? Next slide. So the cons. The leasing company takes your federal tax credit. Boom, right? They're taking that $10,000 and putting it in their pocket. When you sell the home, the new home buyer has to assume the lease. So if they move in and say, I don't want it, what does that mean to you? You can still sell the house, but you're writing a check for that lease payment every single month yourself, right? And I have a very, very good friend that works in one of the largest leasing companies in the world, and he said, well, do people have the opportunity to say, I don't want to pay my power bill? Why wouldn't they want to assume the lease? Well, you just never know, right? So definitely a factor to consider. There's also in small print with leases, at least a 3 to 5% escalator. I've seen upwards of 9 per year. So the whole purpose of solar is to protect yourself from the inflation of the utility costs. If you're getting a lease payment that's going to go up by 3 to 5% every single year, are you really protecting yourself from the inflation? It's debatable. Next slide. Other regulations, who the heck is going to screw this thing down to your roof? Anybody know?
Joe.
Exactly. So I always say, look at their record, look at their contractor record. Do they have a B, general contractor's license? Do they have a C10, electrical contractor's license? Or are they a fly by the seat of their pants, C46, solar only? I just started doing this last year. Don't even know what I'm doing on a roof type license. Definitely look at the license of the person who's going to do it for you. Make sure they're going to flash your roof, right? So this is the same flashing that a roofer would use when they go in and put vents or anything else on the roof. It's guaranteed, it tucks under. Anybody knows anything about roofing, one layer goes on top of the other. This flashing goes, the next layers of roof go on top of it. You're not going to have a leak. Make sure it's flashed. Anybody who's going to get solar, any of your clients who are considering solar, make sure they ask this question, okay? Next slide. So when considering whether or not it makes sense, let's think about the potential risks of solar. Is the sun going to shine? That's probably a bad question to ask for the last 3 weeks. Are PG&E rates going to increase? Are you obtaining reliable equipment from a reputable company? Those are really the top 3. You can go to the next slide.
It's gonna get real cold in my house.
So let's compare solar to another commodity like a car. Is it durable? Does it have moving parts? That's the beauty of solar. It's elegantly stupid. It just sits there, no moving parts, and creates electricity every single day. Is its fuel expensive? Well, when it's raining, it might be, but most of the time here in sunny California, fuel's free, right? Does it require service? Absolutely not. Will it be obsolete soon? It doesn't matter. It's under warranty for 25 years. The manufacturer that we personally work with has panels on test for over 40 years. They're still producing it over 85%. So the thing's gonna last forever. Next slide. So the myth is solar is overpriced. Next slide. Let's compare it to PG&E. Again, 18 to 40 cents a kilowatt hour is what you're buying it for. The average price of electricity when you buy it through solar, you put it on your roof, less than 10 cents. We usually sell for around 7 to 8 cents a kilowatt hour compared to the 40 cents. So really, solar gives you the ability to own your own power and to protect you from inflation, right? So go to the next slide. So the future of solar versus the utility. Will utility power continue to increase? Absolutely. After stuff like San Bruno, who's going to pay for that? Right? We are. The average over the last 30 years for PG&E's territory is 7% per year rate increase. We just saw, I think, 8% last year. So solar instantly provides savings with a fixed upfront cost that'll never go up. Next slide. So how much can you save? You can eliminate your entire bill. A lot of times people say just knock out, 85%. I'll buy it at that lower tier from PG&E. So let's just do kind of an easy number. The average payoff is about 7 years. The average return on cash invested is about 20%. I don't know if anybody's seeing that in the stock market right now, but I don't think so. I think what do CDs paying? 0.5%, 1.5%. The average savings with the 85%. Let's say you have a $250 a month bill, you're spending $3,000 a year, you're going to save $25.50 a year. That's $208 a month. Next slide. So let me go through a real world example. I have a neighbor here, he gave me his permission, Mount Airedale Place, which is in Lincoln Hills, 12 Bridges. He has a 29 panel system, and it's knocking out 83% of his power. Go to the next slide. So this was back when he bought it. There was multi-tiers. So he was buying at the very cheapest, about 17 cents a kilowatt hour. On the high end, 33 cents a kilowatt hour. Next slide. He was paying $3,700 a year in power. Next slide. His annual savings with his solar system is $3,100 a year. Next slide. So his initial investment was $30,000. He got a $9,000 tax credit. The savings over the 25-year warranty period is $134,000. The rate of return on cash invested is 17.5%. Again, can you find that in the stock market anywhere right now? Maybe. The levelized cost of solar electricity is 7.5 cents compared to the 40 cents, and it's a 6-year payoff. Next slide. How do we know it's working? He has one of those fancy microinverter systems. We can see every single panel working and producing exactly what it's producing. Now you can see how come this one is only producing 4.74 watt hours and this one's producing 9.26. That's because this is on the west surface. This is on the south surface. The sun was over here when I took this yesterday. So if he would have had a string inverter system, this whole system would have been operating at this 4.7. Next slide. So how hard is it to get a quote? It's pretty easy. PG&E account number. Phone number associated with the account. That's all you need. So it's pretty easy. If you have a buyer that's moving into a house that goes, man, I'm moving from 1,000 square feet to 4,000 square feet, and this thing's got a pool and yada, 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 I'm going to need solar. Do yourselves a favor and your clients a favor. Ask the people who are selling you the house to pull their electricity usage before they move. Because if they move and the new buyer moves in, they don't have access to that data anymore. So then you're asking us to do calculations based on how much do you think you're going to use your AC? Do you think you're going to use a pool pump? And then they do their best guess, and it's a scientific swag, as anybody would say. Next slide. So with that said, are there any questions on anything I covered? I tried to talk fast because I wanted there to be enough time for Empower. Any questions?
I know there's different solar panels out there on the market. How does a consumer compare what kind of panels they're going to get?
That's a very good question, and I'll give you a gift card when we're done, but I'll save the time, so I'll walk back and give it to you. But there's A, B, and C tiered panels. The A tier usually are manufactured in the U.S. or at least engineered in the U.S. or Germany. And you can tell by looking at the data sheet, or just ask the solar company that you're working with, what tier of panels are these? Us personally, we work with a manufacturer that's in Hillsboro, Oregon, 100% vertically integrated. Everything is done head to toe in the United States. All their sourcing is United States. But you can get stuff that's slapped together cheap in a foreign country. And again, the warranty from my perspective is only as good as the company's been in business. So, oh, it's a 25-year warranty too. Well, cool. How long has the manufacturer been open for? Oh, they just started. Are they going to be open in 25 years? Are you going to stand in front of their warranty? So those are kind of just questions that you should ask as a consumer to the solar company. And if any of you guys ever have questions, I get calls from folks like Kevin all the time saying, this is what's on the roof. Can you tell me what it's worth? And I'll look it up and say, hey, it looks like it's a $20,000 system. They got a $10,000 tax credit. I would say it's worth this. $21,000, whatever it is. So if you guys ever have questions, I'll leave my card around. You can call me and I can help you.
Let's start over here and I'll pass the microphone.
Sure.
Have you ever done a comparison for Roseville, City of Roseville? Our rates are pretty low.
That's a very good question. City of Roseville owns their own utility company. Their rates are like a third of what PG&E rates are. When people call me from Roseville and say, I think I want solar, I usually talk to them and say, I will sell you solar if you want it, but it's not going to pencil out the same way PG&E does. Roseville will give you a cashback rebate, which helps, but the payoff in Roseville is usually about 8 to 10 years, where PG&E is about 6 to 7.
Right here.
What kind of maintenance do you recommend for keeping them clean?
Just a hose. You can just hose it off. Some people will take a non-abrasive brush and brush it down. In all honesty, I'm probably the worst. As long as it's raining once a quarter, I don't even get on my roof. And you can look, I showed you the screen that had the monitoring. You can look at it and go, man, that one panel looks like it's really not producing. If you want to get up there and hose it off and risk your life on a 3-story roof, by all means, go do it. I just don't personally do it.
I clean
Here.
for a living, so if you guys need it.
You should have told me that ahead of time. I would have said absolutely do it.
Having a string system to go to a micro, can you do that cost-wise? And you had a $25,000 cost up there. What size system was that? What case system was that?
$25,000 system is roughly a 5 kilowatt system. Yes, you can go to micro. What I would recommend if you have a string inverter system now, wait for that thing to burn out. You paid for it, wait for it, get as much power out of it as you can. When it burns out, call somebody like us. Then we can come out. You do have to restring the thing, so there's a little bit of labor that's involved to get it done, but you can absolutely do it.
What are the financing options? You said it's normally a 7-year term. Is it just a monthly payment you make, or is it added on the taxes?
Yeah, it's a great question. I was planning on talking about that, so I'm glad you brought it up. There's all kinds of lenders out there that'll do it. You can talk to someone like Ryan Herrick at Guaranteed Rate, again, Eli Shannon, all kinds of cash out refis that are usually the best way to do it. But there's all kinds, Tri-County has a great program right now that's a solar program. I think it's 2.9% financing and it's like a 7-year term. You can also do something like Empower, where you can do, is it 5, 10, 15, and 20 years? So you can choose 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. There's so many lending programs that are out there. We have, probably 10, 15 lenders that we work with directly. I've plugged a couple of them already if you haven't noticed. But there's all kinds of terms. We will also model it as well. If somebody says, I need financing and this is what I'm looking at, we'll model it in our software to show at this interest rate for this term, this is what your investment is. So it all kind of depends on what the rates are in the term.
And then that tax credit that, say you have an investment property, you put it on, and you sell that, because sometimes you don't keep them long term, do you still get that extended tax credit throughout the 7 years?
I would say talk to a tax person as far as, are you talking about depreciation or the tax credit?
The depreciation you showed for the.
Yeah, so I don't think you can depreciate equipment that you don't own, but I would talk to a tax person.
Anybody else, or should we move on?
What's been your experience with the homes that have the solar built already into the roof?
What is it worth? That's a good question. It's worth what somebody will pay for it, right? Berkeley Labs just did a research project on it and sent out a report, which I think I can probably send it to the association and they can share it with you guys. What they said is that usually it sells for about $1.25 a watt. So if you have a 4 kilowatt system, it's worth about 4,000 times $1.25. That's what their test shows, but again, it's worth what somebody's gonna pay. pay for it, you know? And again, if you ever have a buyer who is gonna buy a house with solar on it, give me a call or somebody else a call, we can tell you what that system was worth retail, what it's worth after the tax credit, and what it's probably worth now.
Anybody else?
Does it ever make sense to oversize your system? I know I've talked to a lot of people, and they say they try and get you down to PG&E Tier 1, but of course, that's probably gonna go up too. So how does that?
Yeah, I don't think it personally does. So there's a bill passed that if you overproduce, they have to write you a check for it. But they have to write you a check at a wholesale rate, which is about 4 cents a kilowatt hour. If you buy it at 7 or 6 cents a kilowatt hour and you're selling it back for 4, it doesn't really make sense from a business perspective. I personally oversized my system when I moved in because I knew I was gonna be adding a pool and other stuff down the road. The first couple of years I moved in, I got a check back for $70, $40. This last year I wrote them a check for about 70 because I put the pool in. So if you think you're going to need it in the future, solar panels do degrade over time too. It's like a half of a 0.5% per year that they degrade. So if you know you're gonna be in, like, let's say you move into your retirement home, and here's 100%, but I'm gonna live here for the next 25 years, it might make sense to do it in that case so you never have a bill. For the most part, I don't recommend from a financial perspective going over 100 though.
How about SMUD?
What, Sacramento Municipal Utility, very similar to Roseville. Their rates are probably halfway between Roseville and PG&E. They do offer cashback rebates as well. Usually the payoff that we see is about smack dab between PG&E and Roseville. PG&E is 6 to 7, Roseville's usually 10. So usually 8-9 year payoff with SMUD.